Have you ever felt like you're walking on eggshells in a relationship, second-guessing your own needs and desires? That nagging confusion, wondering if you're the problem, is a classic sign of unhealthy dynamics. Today we're diving into relationship awareness, not just spotting bad partners, but recognizing specific patterns that can erode your confidence and well-being. This isn't about blame. It's about empowering you to spot red flags and emotional manipulation before they take root. By the end, you'll have a clear lens to evaluate your relationships and protect your emotional health. We'll break down 7 common, often misunderstood partner types to avoid, not to scare you but to help you build stronger, safer connections. Let's get started. First on the list is the narcissist, commonly mistaken for being simply self-absorbed. True narcissists crave admiration, lack empathy, and use charm to hook you in. At first it feels magical, grand gestures, intense attention, and declarations of soulmate-level love. But soon, your needs are dismissed, and their validation becomes your job. They belittle your achievements, never take responsibility, and twist situations to make you doubt yourself. If you share good news, they'll one-up you or shift the focus back to themselves. When you set boundaries, they react with coldness or rage, seeing your independence as betrayal. The fairy tale fades, revealing a hollow, transactional relationship. The key: don't be blinded by early intensity. Watch how they handle your boundaries and feelings. You can't change them. Trust your gut and recognize that their need for validation is a bottomless pit. Protect yourself by stepping back when you see these patterns. Early recognition is your best defense. The controller often hides behind concern and protection, but their real motive is managing you to ease their own anxiety. At first, their involvement feels flattering. They want to know everything about your life. Soon, suggestions become demands, and concern turns to criticism if you don't comply. Red flags: monitoring your phone, isolating you from friends, or making you feel guilty for independent choices. They may say, "I just worry about you," but the goal is to make you dependent and compliant. When you assert independence, their control intensifies. Expect ultimatums or emotional blackmail. The antidote: set and defend your boundaries early. A healthy partner celebrates your autonomy. A controller sees it as a threat. Pay attention to how they react when you say no. Your individuality should be respected, not managed. The emotionally unavailable partner keeps you at arm's length, avoiding intimacy and vulnerability. They may seem stable or low drama, but when it comes to real feelings or future plans, they shut down or deflect. You'll notice inconsistent communication and a reluctance to discuss emotions. If you try to define the relationship, they dodge or make jokes, leaving you feeling needy for wanting clarity. Over time, you're left emotionally starved, doing all the work to connect. The relationship fades, not from conflict, but from neglect. Test early. Do they reciprocate vulnerability, or do they avoid it? If they consistently deflect, believe them. You can't force intimacy where it doesn't exist. The critic erodes your self-esteem under the guise of helping or honesty. Their feedback is rarely constructive. It's a steady stream of judgment that makes you feel small. Early on, criticism is disguised as teasing or helpful suggestions, but it quickly becomes pervasive. They nitpick everything: your clothes, friends, ambitions. Nothing is ever good enough. In private, they're harsh. In public, they're charming, leaving you confused and isolated. You start hiding parts of yourself to avoid their negativity, and joy disappears from the relationship. The key: notice how their feedback makes you feel. Supportive partners uplift, critics diminish. Call out the behavior calmly. If they get defensive or accuse you of being too sensitive, that's your cue to protect your peace. Don't let their voice become your inner critic. Healthy love builds you up, not breaks you down. The victim draws you in with their endless tales of being wronged, making you their rescuer. At first you feel special, needed, even heroic. But soon you realize nothing ever improves. They reject solutions, avoid responsibility, and keep you trapped in a cycle of sympathy and exhaustion. When you need support, They pivot back to their own suffering, minimizing your needs. The relationship drains you. Your energy goes to managing their crises, while your own needs are ignored. Compassion fatigue sets in, and guilt keeps you stuck. The warning sign: if they never take accountability and everyone else is always to blame, beware. Set boundaries on your emotional labor. You can support, but you can't save them. Healthy partners work to solve their problems. Victims want endless sympathy. Don't let their helplessness become your burden. The ghoster clinger cycles between intense affection and sudden withdrawal, creating a roller coaster of anxiety. In the clinger phase, you're showered with attention and reassurance. Then, without warning, they pull away, leaving you confused and insecure. This push-pull dynamic is addictive but deeply destabilizing. You're left guessing which version of them you'll get, and the inconsistency erodes trust. The relationship eventually collapses under the weight of instability. Remember, their chaos is not your fault. Early on, watch for consistency. Do their actions match their words? Healthy relationships are built on reliability, not emotional whiplash. Don't settle for a love that keeps you on edge. In codependent relationships, boundaries blur until one person's identity is lost in the other. The codependent partner sacrifices their needs, dreams, and self-worth to keep the relationship afloat. Their happiness depends entirely on their partner's mood, and they fear rejection above all else. Red flags: poor boundaries, people-pleasing, and a lack of identity outside the relationship. The enabler becomes resentful, but leaving feels like losing themselves. Ask yourself, do you feel responsible for your partner's feelings? Is your self-esteem tied to their approval? Healthy love is interdependent, two whole people choosing each other, not two incomplete people trying to merge. Build your own identity and set boundaries to protect your well-being. We've covered 7 toxic patterns that undermine healthy relationships. This isn't about labeling others. It's about building your internal alarm system and trusting your instincts. Reflect on your relationships. Do any of these dynamics feel familiar? Awareness is the first step to breaking cycles and choosing partners who respect your autonomy and feelings. Share this video if it resonated. You never know who might need these insights. Remember, you deserve a relationship that adds to your life, not one that drains you. Thanks for investing in your emotional health today. If you found this message valuable, your support helps us reach a wider audience. Please consider liking this post and sharing it with anyone who might benefit. To ensure you don't miss future content on self-empowerment, subscribe to our channel. Our next video is available here. Thank you for your time and support.